The peak of the third wave was driven by the highly transmissible coronavirus variant Omicron is slightly lower than the second wave, which swept the country last year and killed lakhs of people. That's what the government has said today. Daily COVID cases also crossed 4 lakhs when people reached the second wave peak. That's what Health Ministry's Joint Secretary Agarwal said today. He also said, and I quote now, that we are seeing a decline in COVID cases. We don't want to use words like wave and peak. There are still some areas where cases are increasing. COVID management strategies still need to be implemented because overall we are still seeing high number of cases. Now, also the daily COVID cases in the last 2 weeks between January 21st and Feb 3rd have fallen by 50% from about 3,47,000 to about 1,72,000. And during the same period, positivity rate or the number of infections per 100 fell by 39% from 17.94 to 10.99% as well. Now, mostly the couple of things that you really need to be mindful of here is the districts with positivity rate less than 10 has gone down sharply. There are less than 300 districts with high positivity rate versus 400 that was a week ago. There is a decline in the overall numbers, decline in the overall case positivity. Kerala and Mizoram only the 2 states showing increase, and 8 states have active cases over 50,000. 12 states have active cases between 10 to 50. 16 states have active cases less than 10,000. And a decline in case fatality rate with increase in second dose of vaccines as well is taking place, and patients mostly need not be denied surgeries for fear of COVID infections as well. That's also a tell on how burdened your hospitals are. Also, data suggests that COVID infection does not increase mortality post-surgery in this wave. So those are the key points over there. Meher Pandey is with us on the phone line covering all those details. Meher, what else are the highlights over here and what exactly is the government saying with these numbers?
So, Sonal, the biggest highlight is that the government has indicated that we are past the peak of this wave that was driven by the Omicron variant. They say that the peak was actually on the 21st of January when cases were at 3.47 lakh, and we are now at around 50% of that. So they say the worst of this wave has passed us. We are now in a much better place. That's what the government is saying. Remember that testing has fallen and there's a massive rise in home testing that we've also seen, but test positivity has also fallen. There are now only 2 states that are reporting an increase in cases and test positivity, that is Kerala and Mizoram. There is still an increase in daily deaths, but the government is saying that is because after the peak of a wave of cases goes away, that's when deaths begin to peak as well. So there's a 14-day lag in that, and that's why we're seeing an increase in deaths. Kerala, which is reporting a big number of backlog deaths, has been asked to keep that in track as well. Another thing that the government said is that there is also a fall in the number of districts reporting over 10% positivity. Last week, it was over 500 such districts. There are now around 200 such districts, so there is a massive fall in that as well. So from 406 districts over 10% positivity, there are now 297 districts between 5 and 10% positivity have also gone down. So that is something to keep in mind. The government also spoke on school reopening, which has been a big point of concern, especially now that cases are falling. People want schools to be reopened, and a big push is coming for that. But the government, at least the center government, has said that the final decision is going to lie with states. That's what they reinforced today. They've said that there are SOPs in place, standard operating procedures for the reopening of schools, but the final decision will lie with state authorities. There are now 9 states where schools are still shut, but the final decision will be taken by states only.